Matthew 27. I'm getting near the end of this. Verse 1. When morning came, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And they bound him and led him away and delivered him over to Pilate the governor. Then when Judas his betrayer saw that Jesus was condemned, he changed his mind and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders, saying, I have sinned by betraying innocent blood. They said, what is that to us? See to it yourself. And throwing down the pieces of silver in the temple, he departed, and he went and hanged himself. But the chief priests, taking the pieces of silver, said, it is not lawful to put them into the treasury, since it is blood money. So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field, as a burial place for strangers. Therefore that field has been called the field of blood to this day. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken by the prophet Jeremiah, saying, and they took 30 pieces of silver, the price of him on whom had been set by some of the sons of Israel, and they gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord directed me. So, now this issue here with Judas. Okay? Judas, from the Hebrew Judah, meaning praise. So, Judah and Judas mean the same thing. Believe it or not. As does Jude, the book of Jude. Same concept. Jude, Judah, Judas. Praise. From the Hebrew Yada. So you lift out the arms. Arms extended. Yada. Praise. Toda Yada. So what you have here is you have this guy who realizes he betrayed innocent blood. But even though he may or may not have had a revelation that he was the Son of God, went to the chief priests, said, I've done the wrong thing. The priests, who were completely blinded, said, what is that to us? Because when somebody sins, what are they supposed to go? Where are they supposed to go? In the Old Testament times, where were they supposed to go?
Priest. To the priest. Make a sin offering.
And the priests had the skill of understanding the offerings to know what to do. And these priests are not. What is that to us?
I never thought of that angle.
The priests are not walking in their office. They're stepping out of their office because they're so blinded.
Yeah. They just wanted their agenda. They had lost track of the law completely.
Yep.
Wow. Who was my man?
Go ahead. Jump on it.
Judas, my understanding was the reason Judas went to betray Jesus, besides the fact that he was very greedy for money, was that he thought that he was going to force Jesus' hand so that Jesus would rise up in a revolt and take his place. Like, I think Judas thought he was going to spur Jesus on to take his place to overthrow the heavy weight of the Roman government, and because I think he believed he was king. Judas never wrapped his brain around, Jesus came to die. He just kind of like, oh, he couldn't mean that. It must be something different. I might be wrong about that, but I don't think Judas ever intended that Jesus was actually going to die. I think Judas was just trying to force his hand to move him along a little bit on what he thought God had for him. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. Now, let me point something out. Prophecy likely could have been fulfilled even had Judas not killed himself. Had he repented, he could have possibly been restored, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean,
there was a form of repentance.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure.
I think he was restored.
So the dynamics here are instead of this nonsense, He went and in despair hanged himself. So bottom line, we don't know what happened to him in the end. But there's a drastic difference between what happened to him and what happened to Peter. Peter was restored. Before the Lord ascended, they sat down and they had a fish dinner. Fish and bread.
Peter really, Peter was pretty consistent. He opened his mouth and stuck his foot in it an awful lot of times, and he was going to beat himself to death for what he did in the betrayal, and took Jesus some convincing to allow him to forgive him, which was really interesting. But Peter needed to come to the end of himself like that and be restored so he could walk in the fullness of what God had for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He did it well.
Yeah. You know, the dynamics of what is coming in the other passages in this chapter, we don't recognize what happens when we betray somebody who's innocent. What we also don't realize is that, we get this dynamic of despair and we say, oh, I betrayed the Lord, I'm good for nothing except for killing myself. Nobody can sin as much as I have. The truth is, we've all screwed up. We had the Mel Gibson Passion of the Christ, and the scene where you actually have the hammer falling to nail the hand in place on the cross. That was behind the scenes. That was Mel Gibson's hand. And the reason why is because he made the dynamic and the understanding plain and clear in some of the interviews that we all put him there. He went there for our sin, not just merely for the Jews' sin, even though repentance comes first to the Jew, then to the Greek, Romans chapter 1. Our stuff put him there.
Yes.
Wasn't just the Jews. Wasn't just Pilate. So we have a response that when we screw up, we apologize, we make it right, and then we let the Lord restore us. Psalm 3. You are a shield about me, my glory, and the lifter of my head. You are the one. I can't lift my head, only the Lord can lift my head. Our responsibility is to follow through, and after a grievous sin or whatever the case, after we are convicted by something, to change our path and get wisdom. So, part of the wisdom here is in knowing what our action should be following a mess up. So, Pam, do you have anything?
Okay, actions following a mess up. One of my key verses. First action is 1 John 1:9. You acknowledge that it's sin. You're agreeing with God that it's sin. You confess the sin. You ask Him to forgive you. You believe He forgives you. You receive His forgiveness. Know that He will cleanse you from all unrighteousness. And then you move in a change, that repentance, move in a change of behavior, a change in action. Ask Him to help you. Partner with Him. Especially if it's a long-time addiction or something you significantly have a problem with. It's good. You're going to need His help. Ask Him for it. He's there to help you.
Yep.
Do it.
We'll discover later on in Luke's gospel, the Gospel of Acts specifically, that Judas, his intestines exploded on the ground. So something happened, evidently. So his whole response to go and hang himself, dude, there's not that much, there's not despair like that. You have an opportunity to make things right. Everybody has an opportunity. We all have free will. So, I bless each of you today that no matter how grievous your particular issue is, or your situation, or your circumstance, that the Lord is there and He is willing to work with you to restore you. And if you think you're outside of the grace of God, then you are believing a lie. You think you're incapable of being restored or taken care of or blessed or treated well by the Lord. You are absolutely believing a lie, and I bless you to be free from the lie and to see that you have an opportunity. There's a process. It might be painful. You might not like it. You might have to get rid of some stuff that you have treasured for years. But there is always an opportunity. So be at peace, and we love you guys. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.